I'm gonna be honest with you all, I made a grave mistake, and since I'm trying to be a better person day in and day out, I think it best to acknowledge that mistake in front of the same platform where I made the mistake. When I made the video about the hungry hippo running through Chipotle and beating people and claiming that her food was taken from her, I made it seem like there's a collection of people out there who are too lazy to cook food and instead are dedicated to the grind of ordering and going to get junk food that is not good for their succulent bodies. And I am a hypocrite because I have gone to the store, I've gone to Walmart, I've even pretended that I'm rich by going to Target and buying groceries and then going home, and instead of using those groceries that I spent money on and creating this great meal plan so that I could save money, I get tempted by that ooh so good Wendy's nugget meal and I invest in that. And I'm ashamed and I apologize for that. But in those moments in time where I am sitting in my red Fruit of the Loom underwear and I order that food, I think, wow, it would probably be a good idea to tip the individual who's dedicating their time to drive to said establishment and then to me when I'm too lazy to get into my car and do it myself, because that's the true American value. Lazy with the opportunity to continue to be even more lazy. And in these moments, you think about how much you want to tip someone, how much you want to actually give them for the effort of something that you could have done yourself. And some people tip very low, some people tip very high. And the conversations around tipping always get into this weird category of if you're too lazy, then don't even bother and go get it yourself, or you should be grateful that you get a tip anyway. But I would like to throw in a third option. If you just so happen to be the person who is Ubering or door dashing to go get the food and deliver it, and you just so happen to get a tip, it does not matter if it's $1, no dollars, $3, or in this case, $2, I think you should be able to accept that everybody's not going to give you $100 for a service. You should accept that in some cases, you're participating in something where you're probably going to end up getting the low-hanging fruit, and that's okay. And if you realize that, you won't be stabbing a pregnant woman 14 times and basically sending other people to rob her.
My pizza came cold. My wings came cold. I personally am not going to tip anybody who is bringing my pizza late at an awkward time and my pizza is cold and at night, you know? So I was already kind of getting confused. Like, I already felt a little weird about it, but I didn't think anything of it. So when I got to the door, she seemed very sweet. She had her hair down. You know, she didn't give me no hostile energy until I gave her the money to pay. Um, the pizza and like the order, it was about $33. I gave her two 20s and a 10. So I gave her $50. I'm expecting to receive like $17 change back, which I was going to give her a tip, you know, like I do to everybody that delivers my food. But being that it came late, being that my food was cold, being that it was an awkward time frame, and as soon as I handed this woman the money, she walked away out the door, and my door was still cracked open because I'm expecting my change back, and she just tried to walk away. And I was like, this is how I said it. This is exactly how I said it. Hey girl, I need my change back. And she was like, oh, you need your change. Well, we don't offer change. So she ended up with a $2 tip, which I honestly felt like she didn't even deserve because my pizza was cold. It was super late. You know, I was just like, she's already giving me attitude. About 30, 40 minutes later, we get a knock on the door, loud enough to wake us up from our sleep. So my boyfriend was like, "Oh, it's late. Don't open the door." But I wasn't thinking anything of it, you know, because it's like I'm in a I don't know if they have, you know, I've never had any altercations. I don't have any problems with anyone. I wasn't like fearing to open the door. I don't know if it was a neighbor maybe asking for something, you know, the hotel lobby managers coming to say something to me because it was very odd. We didn't invite anyone over. So I'm like, okay, I'm curious to know who it is. I didn't look through the window or the peephole because I didn't think anything of it. I was half asleep. You know, we had just ate. I woke back up. I opened the door. As soon as I opened the door was cracked. I cracked it open. As soon as I cracked it, she put her foot on the door. And both of their backs were facing me. I couldn't see their face. They When I opened the door, they both had their backs towards me. And as soon as it opened, she kind of kicked the door with her foot and like rushed herself in. And they both just rushed in and she locked the door behind her. As soon as I saw that she locked the door, I realized the situation was a lot more serious than I thought I expected. It just kind of happened so quickly. And from there, as soon as he came in, he pointed the gun at me. Then he pointed the gun at my daughter. I put my hands up. I said, whoa, 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 I have my child. We don't got nothing in there. What's going on? No one said anything. I just said, I got my daughter. What is this? What's going on? They had ski mask on, so we could only see their eyes and their eyebrows, and like their body frame, but I could not, they were not recognizable at all. I was like, who are these people? What is going on? Like it just caught me by surprise. And once I realized the like severity of the situation, I'm like, oh my God, these people came in here to hurt us. As soon as he came in, he pointed the gun at me. Then he pointed it to my daughter and then quickly pointed it at my partner and told him that he needs to go into the restroom in the bathroom. He just complied, put his hands up and listened to the male, and he forced him into the bathroom where he put him in the tub. He told him to go stand in the bathtub, and I could not see him anymore. I was in between both beds with my child, and he forced my boyfriend into the bathroom, and he was holding him at gunpoint the entire time. So, and he was getting close to him, then he would back up, then back close to his head again, then back up. It was too much going on. So, and I'm thinking about my boyfriend, like if I react anyway, this guy may shoot my boyfriend in the head, and the situation just becomes 30 times worse. So I just was holding my daughter, telling her it's okay, everything's gonna be okay. It's all right, everything is fine. I'm holding over her, and next thing you know, I feel um a big thud on my back. I honestly thought she hit me so hard, I thought it was a punch because you can hear like the air out of my back. And I turned around ready to defend myself. I pushed my daughter out the way onto the bed, and I told her to stay right there. And I turned around, and once I looked down on the floor, I was already bleeding all over the floor. So I realized really quickly that she didn't punch me, she stabbed me. So I'm like, she really stabbed me with this pocket knife right now, or I'm not sure if it was a pocket knife or a regular knife because it was like a foldable one. So I'm not exactly sure if it was a blade or a knife specifically, but it was pretty big and it definitely did a lot of damage to my body. I turned around some more and she just continued to stab me. She stabbed me again on my back. And after she stabbed me on my back the second time, that's when I felt a whole heap of blood just spew down my back. And I realized I had a huge gash on my back. And I just laid down on the bed and she just started slicing me, just going crazy, kind of just taking her, like she had it in the left hand. So she was just kind of like back swinging and just going crazy and just stabbing me. This really taught me like the willpower I didn't even know I had, so it's definitely a big impact, very different change. Um, it's pretty traumatic, you know, just to go through that, with my partner as well as my daughter, seeing that whole thing.
Personally, I found that to be a little bit unnecessary because I can look at moments in time and see that maybe I could hope for a better outcome and I don't get it. And I've been very upset. I've been even sad. I've even screamed to the top of my lungs. Those are what I would deem, based on my therapy, healthy ways to cope with not getting what you want out of situations. Unhealthy is basically planning to kill somebody in front of their kid over $2. It ain't that deep. It'll never be that deep. And the fact that you going to jail for a long time lets me know that you don't really have a care in the world. And anyone out there who could possibly think to even try to defend you is somebody who doesn't even have the value of $1 and they just want to say something so that they can be controversial on the internet. And with that, I leave it all up to you. What do you do when you make or order food? Do you make it as a nice little meal plan? Do you order food? Do you pay? Do you tip? Do you hide and hope that the person delivering the food just leaves instead of knocking on the door demanding that you tip? If you're someone who gets a low tip, do you steal the food after you don't get an adequate tip thinking that that's a good idea? And I will welcome all layers of dialogue in the comment section down below. And also, by the time this goes up, I will have a video on the cooking channel regarding me making steak in the air fryer, which will either have a bunch of cow eaters loving me or wanting to hunt me down. Who knows? You're gonna have to see how it turns out over there. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Mwah! Goodbye.